Hey, welcome back everyone, Toyshiz here, and I'm back yet again with yet another Batman action figure comparison video. Little bit of retro shiz, little bit of looking at some new figures of course, but for those of you fans of Batman the Animated Series, get out of here! Because we're talking the new Batman adventures today. Superman the Animated Series was just taken off, and then they felt, hey, you know what, let's go back to Batman. And I'm actually really glad they did, because they had some awesome episodes and some awesome character designs. In fact, I remember grabbing a new Wizard magazine, opening it up, and they had the full reveal right there. All the new characters, talking about how they streamlined the Joker, changed Mr. Freeze, and even Batman, Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl would be making an appearance. And some of my favorite episodes were featured, like Holiday Nights, Cold Comfort, Growing Pains, Never Fear, Over the Edge, Old Wounds, and Beware the Creeper. But I gotta say, as I've gotten older, as much as I love the redesigns, I've kind of gone back to Batman the Animated Series. There's just something classic about it that the new Batman adventures never really quite captured in a way. However, they did make some great action figures over the years, and today we're going to be checking out the new Batman Adventures MAFEX figure, and then kind of compare that and contrast it with the new Batman Adventures figures that I have in my collection. So not too shabby at all. Nice photos of the Batman all over the box, and of course on the back side, more photos, shows you what's in the box. More on that later, of course. And for those of you who stay throughout the video, I'll tell you how you can save some cash on Entertainment Earth, and heck, maybe even get some free shippings to boot. So, this is going to be fun. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the brand new MAFEX, the new Batman Adventures action figure, along with some Kenner and DC Direct X McFarlane Toys offerings. So let's check them out. And while I got all you redesigns here, I just want to say thanks so much for always checking out my DC videos. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Old toys, new toys, daily news updates. I guarantee you'll find something here that you like. So, we're going to jump right into it. First and foremost, we have the 1997 Kenner, the new Batman Adventures Detective Batman. And I still remember going to Toys R Us, just walking in, looking at the shelf and going, oh my god, they're finally out. And he comes with some interesting accessories, like this bat missile right here, cast in all red plastic. He also has this red ray gun with a little porthole on the top, of course. And that is where you're going to put your infrared lens for your dynamic decoder gear. And that was the whole gimmick from the first couple waves of the new Batman Adventures. Along with this giant purplish blue winged jetpack slash wings. Interesting, right? Has a little peg that you insert into Batman's back with Mad Hatter on one side. And like I said, you would use the infrared dynamic decoder to decode things on the packages. And then also on the toys, as you can see right here. If you have to get really close up, it's actually a picture of the animated Nightwing. So, you're welcome. It took me a second, too. I was like, oh man, are the old eyes going already? But with Batman himself, this to me was figure perfection. Now, I remember the old Batman, the Animated Series by Kenner, kind of sort of with Combat Belt Batman. That was like the Batman, with the exception of this hole in his back, right? That's where you would fit the big purpley wings. This was like the perfect Batman. As you can see, you take the cape off, he's got the peg hole, so you could insert it either which way, cape or no cape. But I just wish that the cape did not have a hole. That would have been awesome. It would have been near perfection. But man, oh man, I still love this Batman. He had very simplistic articulation. The arms would move, the legs would move, and then, of course, he had a little bit of a head articulation. So 5 POA. But dang it all, if that was just not show perfection right there. All the angles, all the Bruce Timm dynamics, and you put everything together, snap it on the back, and yeah, you got yourself a really cool looking infrared decoder Detective Batman. It's so goofy, but it's awesome at the same time. And likewise, you could just pull all the goofy gadgetry off, and you would have the perfect Batman right there. One thing though, I really wish the wings would have stayed up. There's nothing to click in, nothing to hold them up. they just instantly fall down. They have a nice sculpt. They have some circuitry within the wings, but then you consistently have to be keeping them up, right? But right here, this isn't spring-loaded. I wish it was. That's another thing. But if you have, let's say, Two-Face on the loose, and you want to go ahead and fire the missile at him and stop his crimes, and just totally miss, because I always miss. That's part of the fun when we do these projectile segments for these old toys, right? I guess you could just use the ray gun, right? And zap him right in the head, right? Boom. Or just knock him, right? Nope. Nothing's working today. There you go. A little backhanded action. That's what it took. But like I said, yeah, the missile's not spring-loaded. It simply just kind of pegs in, and then you push it up, and it launches, and there you go. So, very cool Batman. Still one of my favorite absolute. The new Batman Adventures Batman, highly recommend him. Now, for a very, very long time after that Batman, we have the most recent Batman The Adventures Continue, the new Batman Adventures figure from McFarlane Toys x DC Direct. Sort of the re-release under DC Collectibles and DC Direct when they were doing those. But I gotta say, this is an excellent Batman as well. He comes with the perfect. And when I took this out of the package, I was like, why, that's the Bat Grapnel from the new Batman Adventures. And even the little top part comes off. If only it had a string, heck, that would have been even better. But, as you can see, from a prior release Two-Face and Batman pack with the Arkham Asylum sign, this is the Bat Grapnel we got. It did have a string, but it was so incredibly oversized, it's ridiculous, right? But I love that this is also an accessory. It's the hand that already has the Bat Grapnel in it. You could still pull the top off. I love that. I love accessories that are now molded into the hands. You don't have to swap anything other than just the hand itself. He also comes with pretty dang accurate Batarang throughout the series. Yeah, he just kind of pops it open. It really doesn't make any sense. But that's where the simplistic animation really came from, and I really dig it. I think that that's just another fantastic addition, right? Just kind of pop it right out, and boom, throw it, and you're breaking windows and glass. And then you have a ton of extra hands, too. You got Joker punching hands, and Batarang holding hands, and any other kind of holding hands that you want. Fisted hands, right? Very cool. Love that. Now, with the actual figure itself, it's pretty dang accurate. There are a few inconsistencies, but very minor nitpicks, because I have to say, even though I love the Kenner one, this one is up there. I mean, with the exception of, say, the bat symbol, right? If you look at the animated series, the bat symbol almost changes every single episode. It's actually kind of comical. Just think of, it's just a flat black bat symbol, and you got it. Although, with this one, for me, it's not exactly the one, but it's still pretty cool. I do like it. And then you have that fantastic matte black cape. Very befitting of the animated series. The one gripe I have, even though it does have some cell shading on it, I would have preferred more of that big solid gray ring that was always around the new Batman Adventures Batman, right? But I really enjoy the cell shading this figure has. Even though the coloring is a little bit of the dream sequence Batman from Over the Edge, a tad, right? Just kind of reminds me of that. But other than that, like I said, very cool. And of course, while I got you here, we're just nitpicking the heck out of this thing. Even though I like it, the flesh tone is a little bit too dark. It's almost Lex Luthor, right? From Superman the Animated Series, what they did with the Clancy Brown character right there. But other than that, now, the articulation is pretty simplistic. And like I said, I love the cell shading that they've painted on. I think that that's great. He has single jointed elbows. The arms will go all the way up. The cape really does help in moving him around. It's not too flat, not too thick. He's got some wrist articulation as well, and he has some waist articulation. The legs will kick off to the side just like that. Now, I'm going to say that doesn't look the best always, but it does a great job in not really breaking up the animated look. And that, I think, with these types of figures, you always have to work to preserve, because the slightest off angle really messes up the cool design. So presenting them in a more 3D action figure format, I think it's got to be a super hard challenge. So however they pulled this off, it looks great. Because of all the articulation this guy has, he looks like a drawing, and that's very cool. Even when you want to pop off the cape, you can see you can go that route if you like, although without the cape, the neck and the head definitely look very, very odd. But it's a gorgeous Batman. And with all said accessories, he just looks awesome sitting on the shelf. Again, in talking about the Kenner one, we didn't know, right? So we didn't know. We thought, okay, this is the best we're going to get. And then years and years later, we have this figure, which is awesome. And heck, you could put all of that Kenner detective gear with this Batman, and that looks equally as cool. So highly, highly recommend this Batman from the Adventures Continue. And now we're moving on to why we're kind of here today with my new MAFEX, the new Batman Adventures Batman. It's a very different Batman. I'm going to save you some time and say, you know what? This hits a few marks, but sorely misses a lot of them. And for me, being a big fan of the Batman animated all throughout, whatever incarnation, when you have like a Batarang like this that's all silver, it makes you go, well, wait a minute. You know, it's basically the Batman Adventures Batarang, but then it's all silver. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I know that he had different Batarangs throughout some of the seasons, but that's definitely the regular Batman Adventures. And then you have this Bruce Wayne head, which you're like, yeah, that's totally TNBA, right? Well, he's got that little tuft of hair that's coming off to the side. So I would say this is definitely TNBA Bruce Wayne, right? With that solid hair right there, a little smile action, even little goofs right here on the side. As you can see, he's got the black that goes to the eyebrow, and then it kind of fades out, oddly enough. He doesn't give the bat eyebrows in totality. However, this particular head sculpt really does come from Justice League, especially the episode of Starcrossed, when he has that little tuft of hair. But then you see that on the actual figure sculpt, it's on the opposite side. So that is a whole bunch of jumbly mess from all different iterations. Now, you do get the Bat Grapnel, which, hey, that's a solid-looking Bat Grapnel, I have to say. It's a nice little solid metal pole right here. That's the line it is. But that's totally the original Batman the Animated Series Grapnel launcher right there, right? I mean, it should be black. It should have a red button on the side. They did a fantastic job, but this right here, as oversized as it is, that's definitely the TNBA one. This is definitely the wrong grapnel, and this little line does not come out. I wish it did. That way you could just have it, but it's perma-stuck in there. He does come with a bevy of extra hands, which is nice to see. I did love these little hand trees before. I think it's a nice way to store them. He's got open hands, and he's got some wild, crazy bat grapnel holding hands right there. That looks really odd. A little Spock action, right? But the actual figure itself, how does that measure up? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. Now, he comes with 2 capes. And when you have MAFEX figures, as I've learned, it's very good for posing it out, of course, and then taking photos. So you get a really cool articulated cape. It's got a bendy wire inside. You have this interesting fabric that it works, and I get why they use that. You're able to kind of control it a little bit better than just regular fabric. But it feels very papery, and it doesn't always work. It's a little bit jagged on the bottoms. I don't think it's cut well at all, especially for the price point this figure is at $100. It's just, okay, yeah, like, thanks for the articulated cape, right? He does come with a giant stand with multiple ways to display and get him aloft, so I do appreciate that. That's always fun to see. These stands are definitely a nice touch. With the figure himself, now, again, being a big TNBA fan and knowing all the different art styles and everything else, he's very angular, if you look at it. Like, he's a great representation of TNBA, but as opposed to the animation, he's more so the look in coloring books and merch tie-ins that they did. You see the more angular look? That's really how I see this guy. He just totally reminds me of that. Yeah, he's got a great silhouette to him. Yeah, he looks like he came right out of the show, but then there's certain little aspects here and there that I go, I think they're using a couple art clips here and there to kind of design this figure. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the backside, the cape, everything looks great. Very angular. Would have loved to have seen some shell shading on this guy, to be honest. The Batman symbol is a little bit more on model on this one as opposed to the DC Direct one. But kind of like the DC Direct one better, even though this one has a ton more articulation. So let's pop the head off, as you can see, and we'll get the cape going. Once this cape's on, kind of limits the articulation. You really want to put this one on. That way, you can really get the arms going. And I totally get why they offered 2 capes, and I totally appreciate them doing that. Now you can take a whole bunch of photos, get him into some action poses without just having him standing straight up and down like the model sheets for the animation. But like I said, the cape, it doesn't really fit all too well. I don't feel like it form fits. It doesn't stay on as much as it should and on the chest. You know what I mean? The arms will go out to the side. Great articulation overall. It's going to get a little bit mechanical, though, if I have to be honest. He's got butterfly joints, which allow the arms to go off to the side a whole heck of a lot more. He's got bicep swivel. He's got double jointed elbows, which those look the most mechanical out of everything. He kind of looks like Robot Batman, you know, to be honest with you. And then right here at the wrists, they kind of go into that McFarlane territory when they first started with the balls at the wrist, and I don't like that at all. I think that that really doesn't look good in the totality of this figure. I wish it was a little bit more flush in that sense. Also, the head sculpt, it allows you to look down a whole heck of a lot more than it allows you to look up. So when you want to get him into those looking up poses, especially if you're launching the back grapnel, something like that, it doesn't really work all that well. Now, he does have a really nice diaphragm. He's got a waist swivel, which, I'll be honest with you, the upper diaphragm kind of breaks the sculpt up a little bit too much. He's got the rubberized diaper, which totally works. The legs are cool. Now, you don't get as much movement here, but the legs drop down, which is a nice touch, and then allows you to kind of kick out and get a lot more articulation out of him, which, hey, that's a nice touch. By the way, he's all pinless. He's got double jointed knees. He's got the ball at the ankle, and he has toe articulation as well. No peg holes on the bottom, which I do wish he had that. He can be kind of cumbersome to stand. Kind of loose sometimes in the legs, too. But as you can see, with the wind-swept cape and getting him all posed out, yeah, this is definitely the photographer's, the more articulation-savvy collector's figure, I'll tell you that. He does look good utilizing the accessories, I'm not going to lie. However, I can't get over just how wrong the accessories are. Like, who looked at that and went, perfect, we got it. You can have him jumping out of an airplane, jumping after Mr. Freeze, whatever. But in holding said accessories, well, I said, yeah, he looks totally good. It's just wrong. It's all kinds of wrong. But with the unmasked head portrait, I really do like the head portrait, even though that's wrong as well. But he looks good, even with the more static cape. I think that that looks cool as well. Just don't take the capes off. I don't think that that looks great at all. But in kind of jumbling up the weapons and giving him the old Kenner ones from the Detective Batman, I mean, he does look solid. He looks pretty good holding those as well. Now, as I said, if you have been kind enough to watch this entire video, well, I'm going to tell you about Entertainment Earth. And I'm going to tell you that with my affiliate links, you'll get an automatic 10% off for all in-stock items. Fortunately, it doesn't work for pre-orders. Sorry about that. But if you use code FREESHIP39 for all orders over $39, you'll get free shippings as well. Now, if you're interested in this Batman, you go up to the search bar, type in MAFEX, and you can see all the different MAFEX. I recently just looked at the Dark Knight Returns Batman Blue version that came with Carrie Kelly Robin. I will tell you again, in looking at this figure and knowing the price, $100, I can't honestly recommend it to you. This is the one I'm going to tell you. I would totally rather you go back, get the Kenner one, or get the new Batman Adventures Batman when they re-released it, right? Those two are solid overall. They are doing a new Batman Adventures Joker figure, which looks very on model, kind of has piqued my interests. But I got to tell you, and kind of what I said last time, for $100, you can go to McFarlane Toys and get all of the Dark Knight trilogy figures like Joker, Batman, Two-Face, and Scarecrow, along with Bane. So you got 5 figures for the price of this one. If you don't like Batman, you like Marvel, well, they're starting to ship out the new Ghost Rider Marvel 375, which I'm very much looking forward to. You like NECA and the Turtles? We've looked at a ton on my channel. Always highly recommend them. Mirage, The Last Ronin, you name it, they got it. They got the Monster Turtles as well. We just recently looked at the Super 7 Simpsons. Those are all in stock. Definitely check them out. Highly recommend the Deep Space Homer. He's wild. But I got to tell you, at the end of the day, superheroes aside, the Super 7 Ren and Stimpy figures, top notch. Got a video on those too if you want to check them out in full detail. So as I say again, use my affiliate links for all in-stock items for 10% off. Get free shipping on orders for $39 and more by using code FREESHIP. I highly recommend Entertainment Earth. I use them myself. I guarantee you'll find something there that you like. So that will wrap it up for my look at the new MAFEX, the new Batman Adventures Batman, and then 2 other new Batman Adventures Batmans in my collection as well. And I gotta say again, with the MAFEX figure, there's a lot of great things. Don't get me wrong, but in looking at it, the price tag and how they kind of jumbled up all the different looks and weapons and everything else, no, I'm gonna say it's a pass. At least it's number 3 out of the 3 that we looked at. With the new Batman Adventures, the Batman Adventures Continue by McFarlane x DC Direct, home run. Couple nitpicks here and there, but overall, that's a very nice looking figure. But I gotta tell you, the winner, the one that's taking it home, is Detective Batman. He is a toy. He is an awesome figure through and through, and he's just a classic action figure to boot. So, you've heard my thoughts. Now I'm curious to know yours. Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything the new Batman Adventures. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, now if you'd like to see me do more videos like this, leave me a comment down below. Tell me which figures, could be anything, and maybe I can cobble together a bunch of figures from my collection and make you one heck of a video. And when I do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios. Well, here's a bit of a bonus section for those of you who didn't click off already. If you want to put the MAFEX head onto the DC Direct one, doesn't look too shabby, although it won't stay. But if you want to put the articulated cape on the new Batman Adventures one by DC Direct, yeah, that actually will work. You just have to get the head, you can plug it all the way down, but yeah, looks totally good, right? And of course, if you want to give the big old Kenner back grapnel from TNBA to the MAFEX figure, that'll work too. Thanks for watching.